All right, today we start the fun stuff. Proofs! Yeah! Okay, so we're going to start talking about triangle congruence and proving things and having logical reasoning to back things up. So, things that are congruent have to have the same shape and size. Logical. When they're congruent, you can move one so it fits exactly onto another one, which again makes sense. So you have two playing cards. They are congruent. They sit right on top. Otherwise, your deck, when you go to shuffle to play Go Fish, hey, you're not going to be able to match your cards up. They're not going to all sit nice and neat together. Congruent figures have congruent corresponding parts. Now, corresponding means they match up. They line up. So think of your usage of that word for when we did our parallel lines. When you talk about congruent polygons, you always list the corresponding pieces in the same order. So let's talk about naming some congruent parts. So it's telling me that triangle TJD is congruent to triangle RCF. And it's asking me for the congruent pieces. So if I went... I have my sides, because I have the sides of a triangle. I go from T to J, am I talking about, so let's say side TJ, because I'm talking about how it's written here. I start with T to J, and then on my other one I go R to C, so then those must be congruent. Next, I go to JD. That has to be congruent to CF, because again, I'm looking at the order that I see in my triangles here. And lastly, I want D to T. And that's going to be congruent to FR. Notice how my corresponding pieces, if I rotate this shape here, I will line up exactly on this shape over here. All right, let's talk about my angles now. Try this. See if this color works. I don't know if it'll work or not. So we started with angle or side T. So if we're starting with this angle, angle T is congruent to angle R. Remember, I like patterns. It makes my life easier. It makes more sense. So then I went from T to J. So angle J must be congruent with angle C. And last but not certainly least, I had angle D, which must be congruent to angle F. So those are all of my congruent pieces. And I just realized you couldn't see this purple part because my face down here. So I'm sorry about that, guys. If you're like, hey, I can't see what you're doing, you could at least see my drawing. So now you can see those last ones. Okay, I want you to pause this video, and I want you to taking a look at how we just did number 1. List how you're going to do these ones. So pause and come back and check your answers. How did you guys do? So basically what I did when I was doing this, as you notice I didn't mark anything up because I was hoping you would, is I just went around in order like I had done before. So if I started over here, I have W to Y. So that starts with M to K. Then I went Y to S, which would have to be K to V. And then I went SW, which is VN. So I always like to look at the first one to see how I'm going to go around, the first side anyways. Okay, so we've talked about congruent stuff, so now let's actually really dive into it. So the first congruent part is the definition of congruent triangles. Triangles are only congruent when you have all three congruent corresponding sides and all three congruent corresponding angles. So you need 6 things. We're going to do some proofs. So we want to prove that these two triangles are congruent. Now, notice we're given, it says given here. That means stuff that we're given as freebies, or we can clearly see it. It's either given to us written or it's given to us pictorially. Well, this is given to me in pictures. So let's take a look at what we have been given. So step number 1, name one thing that I see. Well, I see that this side is equal to this side. So let's go ahead and say that. So SP is congruent to, now take a look at where I started. I went from the angle with 1 to the angle with 2. Good, I have to go this way. So that's one of them. Now, I'm going to keep the same color here, but do below each other because I want to make sure that we follow, everything flows nice. So that's one thing. So I'm going to go ahead and erase these arrows that I had done so I don't confuse myself with all the different drawings that could possibly become. I see that I have another equal side over here. So I could say SR is congruent to QR. Well, I have some congruent angles. So angle Q is congruent to angle S. Now, angles are what's a little tricky. I only need to do one letter if it's clearly that's the only letter. Now, if you look at P, notice how I have an angle here, an angle here, and a big giant angle here. So angle P there's 3 different things I could be referring to. So if I talk about angle P, I need to talk specifically about the different parts. So since it's split, I have to use 3 letters. I'm going to undo those weird marks so we don't confuse ourselves. So if I go angle Q, P, R, go Q to P to R, notice that direction. I need to say that's congruent to angle S to P. Oh, P's for turning into an R. S to P to R. Okay. So all that stuff is on my given. I want to get rid of those arrows. Okay. This is me just trying to get rid of these arrows that I drew in over here. And all of those big giant things are given. Because it's been given to me on my picture. Well, I need to know 6 things. I need to know 3 sides. And I need to know 3 angles. So let's check off how many we have so far of each. So just with my given alone on my sides, I see I have one side I talk about here, and I see I have another side. So I have 2 out of the 3. Let's take a look at my angles. I have an angle mark here, and then I have an angle mark here, so I have 2 here. So the next spot doesn't really matter where we go next because I need 2 other pieces, and I already have 2 things. So do I want to go over the last angle, or do I want to go over the last side? Well, we need our magical handy dandy sheet that has all of our properties on it. So if you don't have it, pause it and get it out. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you need to go back a video. Okay, good. We've got it out. So let's just go ahead and go after our last side. So we're going to go back, and I'm going to do this in purple since my last thing is I'm looking for this side. So if you notice, I need to have this side. That's my last guy, isn't he? Okay, well, he folds in on himself, isn't he? So this is what's called the reflexive property. It's by saying PR is congruent to PR. Because those are 2 pieces in each of the triangle, if I cover up, bear with me for a moment, if I cover up about that side, you can see that I have the line PR in this triangle. And then if I also cover up this side, you can see I also have the PR in that side of the triangle. So I use PR in both triangles. So because of that, I can say it's equal to each other. Well, what gives me that? That reflexive property. Wow, I cannot write today. Let me try this one more time, guys. It is not working out for the writing today. Okay, I don't know why it was so difficult. So now if you notice, I have 1 side, 2 side, 3 side. Woo, we're good. 3 strikes, I'm out. So now let's look at finding that last angle. Well, again, I'm looking for angle R. So I already know that 2 pieces of my triangle are congruent. So what that means is that the next part has to be congruent. So angle QRP is congruent to angle SRP based on that lovely theorem 4:1 that we have. So I have my 3rd angle. Check it off down here. Step number 4. My last step should always be what I've been asked to do. So I've been asked to prove this. So step number 4, triangle PQR is congruent to triangle PSR. And what information did we use? We used the definition of running out of room, congruent triangles. All right, that was a lot. What I want you to do is try and see if you can tell me what's been given in this next, tell me what's been given in this next one, in this next example. Show me that you know what is going on. So I meant to pause the video. I'm going to start getting that stuff on there. Okay, so we should, oops, I forgot to finish. Okay. Boom. Okay, step number 1's given. So we probably were able to get to everything but this part. So these triangles here and here mean that they are parallel, which are also indicated by this symbol down here. So we're told that those lines are parallel. So let's keep that in the back of our mind because we just did parallel lines right before we started triangle congruence. So we still need we still need 3 sides. And I'm going to switch colors for that last one because that was hard to kind of see. And 3 angles. So right now, I only have 2 angles. And I only have 1 angle and I have 2 sides. Side. This last statement does not mean I have all 3 sides. It's saying I have something is parallel. So I need that 3rd side. So let's go ahead and try and find it together. Well, cover up your triangle. Where's my missing side? Good, it's at AC. So I need to know something about AC. Well, isn't that exactly what we did in this last one when we were looking for that last side? So AC is going to be congruent to AC, and that's going to be based on the reflexive property, which we can shorthand to RP. It has to be equal to itself. So boom, we got our 3 sides. Awesome. Now we got to do some stuff with my angles. That's going to be a little bit more tricky. That's where we're going to have to pull our knowledge of parallel lines up. So if this is parallel, ooh, that was really bad. Let me try that one more time. If this is parallel to this, and this is my transversal, you see that image coming up? What do I know about, ooh, let's pick a good color for this. This angle compared to, say, this angle. They're equal, but why are they equal? Alrighty, think about that some more as you tell me what you know about this angle and this angle. They're also equal for the same reasons. I'm going to go back to that green so we can keep our color coordinating system. Let's go down. Angle, not picking anyone in order, BAC is congruent to angle DCA, and angle BCA is congruent to angle DAC based on my alternate interior angles, or my AI, because we just talked about that with my parallel lines. All right, well, I've got my three sides. I've got my 1 angle, 2, 3 angle. So I got those gone. So let's talk about what I had to prove. So step 4, triangle ABC is congruent to triangle CDA. Why? Definition of congruent triangles. All right, guys, see you tomorrow.